Last week, I had the pleasure of interviewing international master Thomas Enqvist from Sweden about his new book, Ulf the Attacker. I hope you can see that. There you go, Ulf the Attacker. 56 thrilling games from Sweden's chess legend. So, this book is about Ulf Andersson, who was one of the strongest players in the world in the 1970s and 1980s. But, he was famed for his strategic prowess and his ability to squeeze out victories in the endgame. But in this book, Thomas highlights another aspect of his play. So I've taken a clip from the broadcast, which was over an hour long, but this is about 16 minutes, where you can see one of these sparkling attacking games. This really is a beautiful miniature, actually. By the way, the book is available from New in Chess and costs $29.95 in euro and indeed $29.95 in US dollars as well. You can get it directly from New in Chess. I'll put the link down in the video description in the comments. And as ever with books from New in Chess, the production quality and layout are top notch. Perhaps you can see it there. And I warmly recommend the book, which, apart from some great games, is full of fascinating biographical details. So I hope you enjoy this game. How successful was Ulf in his correspondence career?
He was very successful because he became the highest rated player. And as he said himself, for him, a correspondence player is a person who has played for more than 20 years. But he quickly became the highest rated player in the world. It's quite extraordinary.
Wow.
And he also could play very aggressive chess.
As we're about to see. So Ulf playing white and Ivar Bern, who, I've played Ivar in normal classical chess. Now he's from Norway, an international master, I believe.
He might be a grandmaster. I have also played him. When I played him, he was international master, but I think he's a grandmaster now. Okay, I'm not 100% sure.
But anyway, strong player. That's very interesting. I didn't realize that Ivar became world champion. That's amazing. So as you say, pre-computer age. And I think what characterizes these two games are basically rapid development. And, one has to be so careful, particularly as black, when you start, on the back foot because you play the second move in the game. So, okay, white to play. Let's throw it open to our viewers. White to play. What would you do as white? I think I might have played this position with white, actually. Once. Can't remember too well. In the dim and distant. It's all gone very slow. I suspect there's a bit of a lag. But anyway. White to play. Bishop g5, Beloglavi suggests. Bojan Maksimovic, a4. Yeah, interesting. Bishop g5 played. So it's all about playing with pieces. And yeah, if black develops the bishop here, then, white can maybe gain a tempo at some moment. So anyway, knight a6 played, developing a piece, defending this one. I'm going to zip through because time is really flying. Knight a3. So again, rapid development. Interesting. A lot of people suggested a4, but I think the pawn would simply advance to b4. But knight a3, very interesting. Tempting black into playing this, and then the knight would enter the game. Knight c7 played, which leaves this one a little bit out on a limb, so that's why Ulf played c4. b4, the knight came back, and a5. Now, I think this is a key moment in the game. Absolutely a key moment. And I suspect that this next move completely threw Ivar Bern playing black. So what is White's next move, everyone? If you'd like to suggest a move in the chat, I'll be very grateful. So White to play. How did Ulf discombobulate his opponent? For those arriving late, I should say we're discussing Thomas, my guest here, Thomas Enqvist, International Master from Sweden. We're discussing his new book, Ulf the Attacker, 56 Thrilling Games from Sweden's chess legend, Ulf Andersson. So Beloglavi has suggested d5. Yeah, well, d5 is actually, it's a very interesting move, because if that's taken, then I can see that, a move like knight h4 could be interesting. To potentially pick up that pawn with the knight and potentially moving this one in here. In fact, d5 wasn't played. But d5, I agree, looks very typical for this kind of position. In fact, it wasn't this. It's an even more shocking move than d5. Even more shocking. Okay, I'm going to put you all out your misery. Here we go. e4. Thomas, this is an amazing move.
It certainly is. As a matter of fact, he could have played it earlier, but I have noticed with Ulf that he only plays such moves when he had developed his pieces.
Well, he played very sound, rational chess. That's his thing. Very classical player. But e4, this is amazing. Of course, if this pawn remains here, then White has these options with a clear advantage. So, really, this should be taken. It was taken. I'm impressed by the follow-up as well. So again, I'm going to throw this out there. So White to play. What's the follow-up? It's really interesting. Have you had a chance to do some lectures and things on the book, Thomas?
Yeah, I had one lecture so far, but I will have one in November as well. And I think this game is very similar to the game versus Portish, and also in the spirit of Morphy, because the idea with e4 is to open the e file against Black's king, which has not castled yet.
So Boyan Maximovich suggests rook e1. Well done. That's the move that Ulf played. Very simple. Just bring the rook into the game. Of course, there's a threat to take the bishop. So White has to make a decision here. And Ivar Bern, remember guys, it's a correspondence game. So he would have had, well, I was going to say all the time in the world to potentially analyse the best continuation. And this happened. Takes on d4.
It would have been better to take the knight on f3, because the knight on c2 was more passive.
Ah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then this still feels like White could get some serious compensation here. I don't know. What do you think the best way for White to proceed would be? Maybe d5. Is this possible? d5 and maybe bring the knight to e3? Or well, simply rook d1. Still feels like White has fantastic compensation here, actually. Okay, but in the game, this was exchanged. And takes on d4, so there's a threat here. Rook a6. Okay, so White to play now. And again, to me, this is, as you mentioned, Thomas, you know, Ulf does things correctly. So before he goes for the, you know, the final attack, so all his pieces come into play, which I really like. And that should give you all a massive clue as to White's next move. I'm presenting it to you on a plate. I'm sure you can get the move now. Hey, Thomas, when you play, are you more positional player? Do you like, playing gambits, sacrificing, attacking play, or what's your style when you play?
I believe in the positional sacrifice, but maybe not to play an opening gambit. I think it's better to play a gambit later in the game when your position is fully developed, like Ulf does here. I think that is a great concept.
Absolutely. And okay, it seems like everyone is learning. Well, as I said, it was a gift to our viewers. Rook D1. So this is beautiful, isn't it? When all the pieces are in play, everyone's come to the party, which is great. Mm. And yeah, black is rather struggling here to develop because, moves such as knight c6 come into play. h6 played. An exchange on f6. So in exchanging bishop for knight, this is basically just gaining time for white, isn't it? It's about winning a move. And now Ulf follows with a really, really powerful move, after which the writing is very much on the wall.
Yeah, so you have to find what is the weakest point in black's position. And as you mentioned, Daniel, here Ulf Andersson's play is reminiscent of Fischer because he understands the value of time by taking on f6. He could have played bishop f4, but bishop takes f6 is the most precise move.
Well, Boyan suggests knight b5, and I have to say knight b5, I should say, wasn't played. However, Thomas, it also looks pretty good to me. What do you think of knight b5, Thomas?
Knight b5, I don't recognize that move in this position, but spontaneously it looks interesting. But what about queen d8?
Yeah.
Maybe it helps black.
Yes, and I was wondering in this position if... Yeah, I was trying to find some way through this. Bishop b7, rook b6 is okay. So yes, maybe queen d8 just about hangs on. Yeah. Interesting though, but not this move. Lucky left arm suggests queen a4. Well done. Yeah, this is the weak point. And this is a massive problem. And black really doesn't have a good defense now. So bishop c5 was played. And now an absolutely crushing finish. Okay, I think we're just going to have to show it because we're running a little bit short of time. So unless everyone comes up with a move very quickly, I think there's a big lag. Then knight takes e6 is a very nice finish. Just opening up the d file. And bishop f2 was played. King, of course, is completely safe, and now queen takes pawn mate is threatened. So rook takes. And a check. I'll go through to the finish because it's all about just eliminating black's pieces at this point. Yeah, with a big threat here. g6 and rook f1. That's very nice. Hitting this one.
Yeah, now it's like a king's gambit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we've changed the opening again, and yeah, with bishop d5 coming, and f7 collapsing, then yeah, black doesn't have a good defense here. I'm guessing, let me just have a look at queen e3. How does white finish off there? Okay, now I'm testing you, Thomas. So
bishop d5, black will respond rook h7.
ooh. Yeah.
And of course there is something here, because white is in full control here, so it's a matter of threatening the bishop and the pawn on the f-file at the same time.
Ah, yes. I see exactly what you mean. Okay, so king g2 and white crashes through here. Must be winning, yeah.
Mm. Yeah, that is beautiful when the king helps to decide the game.
Yeah,
like this.
That's true. That's really subtle and somehow very fitting for Ulf as well, who was such a subtle and delicate player in the endgame with his king. So king g2 is a wonderful way to finish an attacking game as well. Eloisa, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Boyan says, good game. Yeah, that was a fantastic game. I'm just going to zip through really quickly from the beginning because I think it really bears a repeat view. So again, this is about really rapid development, isn't it? And this absolutely star move, e4, and this just helps white. Brilliant. And so simple. And then there's no defense to this. Absolutely fantastic. And yeah, black resigned. Well, I think black resigned before then, actually. or what was this the final position, actually? Or did he resign after rook f1?
But didn't black play bishop b6?
Ah, he played bishop b6, sorry.
Instead of, queen e3 was a variation.
Ah, right. So he actually played bishop b6.
Yeah, and bishop b6 wasn't that played here. And now queen b7, right?
Oh, right. I didn't realize that was the finish to the game.
Yeah, because black has two weaknesses, the f7 pawn and the bishop on b6. Right. So after h7, bishop d5, black killed everything.
Black is overloaded. Right, I didn't realize that was the finish. Yeah, I couldn't see it. Okay, fantastic finish.
But I think it was more fantastic finish with king g2, actually.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, we discovered a nice variation anyway. Yeah, really, really nice.